Okay. Um, as I said, it's part of a project, the ProWebC project, where we are actually holding webinars on entrepreneurship, career development, and intercultural communication. The project is funded by the Erasmus Plus program and is implemented by DESO in Macedonia, 42 Foundation in Bulgaria, and IED in Greece. But we also open the webinars to the Balkan countries. So that's why I'm so happy that you guys decided to join. We're going to talk about how to create an amazing CV. But before we start, my name is Milena. I'm from Sofia, and I work with young people on career development since 2001. So that's a lot, I guess. I'm gonna ask you to say your name, your age, and where you come from, please. And I'm just gonna start, I guess, alphabetically. So Danilo, could you please tell me your name and surname and where you come from?
Okay, I am Danilo Ljubosavljević. I come from Niš. I am 21 years old.
Very good. Thank you, Dani. Milena.
I'm Milena, but I'm using sister's laptop. And I have 22 years old and I come from Niš.
Okay, Milena. Okay, I have to remember this. It is not the same as mine. Okay, Nevena. I don't hear you for some reason. Your mic is probably not working properly.
I don't know.
Okay, now it's working.
It's working, right?
Yes.
Okay, hello, my name is Nevena, and I'm from Niš, and I'm 20 years old.
Okay, thank you very much. Miljana.
Hello, I'm Miljana Mihajlović and I'm 22 years old and I come from Leskovac, but I study in Niš.
Okay, Niš is a beautiful city, by the way. We went there with our colleague Danilo. And just now I learned that it's Danilo, not Danilo. We've been calling him for 1 year Danilo. He didn't say anything. Thank you. And Milica.
Hello, I'm Milica Sinanovic. I'm 19 years old and I'm also from Niš.
Okay, very nice. Thank you, guys. Two things. First, thank you very much for all being from Serbia and speaking in English. I know that it's probably a little bit weird, but I promise you that if you speak Serbian and I speak Bulgarian, we would not be able to communicate, you know? So thank you very much for the English speaking. Second, there is a chat option. I don't know if you saw it already. I would like to kindly ask you to put there your full name as it's written, as it should be written, with your age and email. The email is only if the donors decide to contact you for some reason to check, to confirm that you actually participated. They want this, so if you wouldn't mind, please do it in the chat. Did you see the chat?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. If I am speaking too fast or there is something that I do not pronounce well and you do not understand it, let me know. Stop me. I will choose other words in order to be able to understand each other. And also, please feel free to ask questions at any time throughout the presentation. I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet, not more than 40 minutes. But if you have questions, please go ahead. I would be more than happy to answer whatever comes to your mind. For the sake of the better communication, technically, I'm going to mute all of you because I have the power to mute all of you. If you want to say something, just unmute yourself and go ahead. Yeah? Okay. Before we start, is there any one of you who wants to share if you already created your CV and applied somewhere for a job, to tell me how it went? How hard it is for you to create your CV? Anyone, if you want to share. For me, it was terrifying. I have to admit, the first time I didn't know what to do at all. I asked a friend of mine to do it instead. Okay, you're still shy, but I'm gonna keep asking you questions, guys. Let me just put this on a full screen. Okay. How to create an amazing CV. What is really well known as a format in our part of the world is the Europass, right? Have you seen the Europass? Yes, no? Yeah, maybe. Okay, it's really boring. It's ugly. It requires a lot to fill in, but still there are companies that require you to submit your CV in that format. That's okay. If they want it this way, you have to do it this way. I'm not going to speak about the Europass within this presentation because there is nothing creative in it anyway. Nowadays, the companies, I'm not speaking about the state agencies or the governmental institutions because they're other story. But in the companies, it's such a hassle to find people, good people, because they have so many candidates sometimes that they really have to see something very attractive in order to really say, okay, this person is worth asking for an interview. The design of your CV is really important because the way that it looks is the first thing that the person sees. Imagine if there is a position for an IT company and they receive 250 CVs. There is a poor guy there, the HR manager, who has to go through all these documents and actually shortlist some people to call for interview or tests. So the design is the first thing that will really attract their attention. If the design is good, they will read more of your CV. If it's boring, if it's nothing special, it's going to be just one of the pile. So the special, the more special, the better. Here I have put some examples that I found online that I really think that are very attractive. However, you will see on all my slides there are examples of CVs. But it's important to mention that it really depends on what kind of job you're applying for in order to choose the right CV design. Because, for example, the Alison Soy example, which is here in the middle, you would not really apply with this kind of CV if you're going for a bank officer, right? Because this is too creative for that kind of job. However, Daniel Jackson's CV is more suitable as it shows it's really simple, it's really easy. The eyes of the person to really spot the information they're looking for. And it's amazing how many things he actually put on just one page without it being too busy, right? So you have to really pick a good design. At the end of the presentation, I put some links to websites where you can find more ideas and actually start looking for what you need for your job application. According to the statistics, the first part of your CV, so the letterhead, so-called, is what really is the most important, because this is where the HR managers look first. And they give it 3 seconds, according to the statistics. So if within 3 seconds, your letterhead manages to attract the HR's attention, you have much bigger chance this person to go through your entire CV. So you have to make sure that when you structure your document, you put the most important part, the most attractive part for this particular job application on the top. And now is the time to emphasize that there is no such a thing as generic CV. Like, you create it once and you use it for every job application from now on. People do it, most of the people do it, but it's wrong. Because if you really want to do it right and good, your CV should really match the vacancy announcement. Like, whatever you see written in the advertisement, this is what you have to put in your CV. If they're looking for a person, bright, young, sporty person, then you put how bright, young, and sporty you are in your CV. So that's going to be your highlight, right? So you really make sure that you match whatever skills and experience you have to match it with the advertisement. Otherwise, it's not going to work well. When I was once hiring a person for, well, it wasn't a high level kind of job, but let's say mid-level management in an international center, I got CVs from people who worked in casinos as security guys, who worked in bars as bartenders. That's weird, right? Because they put one CV and started sending it everywhere where they saw a good keyword. So try to avoid these. I know that it's sometimes it's too hard, but it's important. So remember, the first 1/3 of your CV is given about 3 seconds to attract the attention. Here's the CV of Elon Musk. Probably you know who he is. He got really famous, really famous, recently with sending Tesla in the space. So this guy is really something. I don't know if he created his CV or somebody created it for him, it doesn't matter, but what I really liked here is how the skills and competences are put. So instead of writing long texts on how good you are in this and that, he just put a bar with how proficient he is in all these things. And you can see with just one look what he's really good at, where he has 100%, and where are the things that he thinks he can work more on in order to get better. Microsoft Windows and Office do not count anymore. Like, this is not a skill, it's a must, right? Just like you don't put Serbian in the languages that you speak. I mean, it's obvious that you speak Serbian and it should be obvious that you work with Microsoft Windows and Office. So those you don't really include in your CV anymore. But being goal-oriented, or being a good team leader or a team player, or creative, or whatever else is important nowadays to put. Because honestly, most of the times the hiring people are looking for candidates who would fit their team, and of course who would cover the main educational and probably mostly educational requirements. Because everything else you can learn, they can teach you. They can teach you how to create an invoice, but they cannot teach you how to be a good solution finder. So these things, they usually put them in the advertisement. So you look there and you match this with your CV. They give you the words that you need, or the information that they're looking for, that you have to put in your CV. So pay attention to what's there. Your achievements. It's really important. It actually means that you have goals and you seek to achieve your goals, that you are looking to have some results, whatever you do. You're young, right? You're 20 to 22 years old. Probably you don't have a lot of working experience, or you don't have a lot of working results to show. However, you're probably good students. You might be volunteering somewhere. You could be doing sports and doing very well in sports. It might seem weird or lame to put this in your CV, but it's not. Because being a good sportsman shows that you are energetic, that you chase your tasks, probably a good team player, and so on. So look for those things that you can show as results, because there is always something. We have to be really creative when we think about our own experience and our own skills. Look for your skills everywhere. Sometimes it might help to ask your friends, what do they think that you're good at? Because there are things that we don't really judge well sometimes when it comes to ourselves. When we put work experience, if we just put store manager at the ABC stores, it doesn't mean anything, right? It might mean too many things. So it's always better to put a sentence or two on what your job actually looked like. What were your responsibilities, your tasks? And here you can also put your achievements and results. So give a hint to the people, and usually, for example, my job is probably 5 pages, right? I would not put 5 pages to describe what I do, but I would put only these few things that really match the job that I'm applying for, right? Those few things that really would make me a top candidate for that exact position. So look for those. You don't really have to put everything, and that's for the future, because you will start changing jobs. You will probably have summer jobs and other short-term things to do. You don't really have to put everything. It's up to you to decide what would help your candidacy and what would not help. So you can put as many as you wish and as many as you think that would be good to be there. Everything else you can tell the HR manager at the interview, right? You don't really have to expose your entire self in the CV. put the brightest and the most important things in the CV. Keep it one page. Don't go further. I mean, 2 pages is probably the maximum now, but only if you really have a lot of things that you've done in your career. In your case, being young, I guess you can do your best to shrink your CV within only 1 page, because you have to stay focused, right? 1 page is everything that people see when they took your CV. If they have to turn and then turn again, I've seen 12-page CV. I will never read that thing, 12 pages. So that's way too much. Keep it 1 page. Don't play too much with the font size, because we sometimes intend to do this. I was doing it in the university. If they tell me that I have to write a 3-page paper, I would put a huge font because I wrote only 1 page, but with the font I can make it 3. So this is not really working. Keep it between 9 and 12 points, the size, and use fonts that are traditional, that the eyes can easily read, because we're used to those fonts. Unless you're applying for something super creative, and there you can, you can be more flexible. However, make sure that whatever font you choose, it's readable. Anything that is too italic is not readable. You can see by yourselves that it's really hard to read this one. And especially if you're using special design and font, always make sure that you send your CV as a PDF. Like, in any case, it's good to be PDF, not a Word, because the Word goes out from my office version to somebody else's office version, and I don't know if it's gonna open the same way that I created it here. If you PDF it, it stays as you created it, so they will see exactly what you developed yourself. There's not going to be a change. And if it's PDF, it's going to keep all the formatting, fonts, everything is going to be there. That's obvious, but I'm still going to say it. The most recent jobs go first. Like, you start from what you work now, then what was your last job, and then you go further down. You don't start with what it was 4 years ago, and then the recent job goes the last on the list. No, it goes vice versa. Again, according to, those are mainly USA statistics. However, a lot of companies use the American style of hiring and working nowadays. So I guess that applies here as well. What the hiring managers most often look for is to see your name, what you are currently working and where, because this is the closest to what they're going to hire you for. So if they're looking for a salesperson now in their job application, and you are currently a salesperson somewhere else, that's a bonus, right? So you're just gonna change the company, but you're gonna be experienced enough to be good in the new position as well. They look for the dates, the start and the end dates, because they show them how long you stay with one employer. If you change jobs too often, it doesn't show good, right? So you can trick a little bit, and if you were having many jobs for just few months, don't put them all in your CV. Combine the periods but put less positions in companies. It's a little bit of cheating, but it's okay. I mean, as long as you don't lie and you can prove that you work there, that should be fine. And also, if you have two large gaps, for example, your last job was 2 years ago and now you have a new one, there should be something in between to show those people that you didn't stay home watching TV, but you were actually doing something else. That's why you weren't working. They need to see that you're motivated. It's really, really, really important to pay attention to your document. Before you send it, make sure that it's not full of mistakes, that you don't have a funny photo on the CV, meaning that, well, it shouldn't be the passport photo because it's too official, but also it cannot be cropped photo from the last party that you attended. I've seen amazing beach photos, photos with glasses in the hand. This is not good, right? So make sure that you have a nice photo. If you have a friend photographer or a friend who's really good in photographing, ask this friend to make a good photo of you. It could be in the park with all the green leaves behind you, with a focus on your face and so on. So try to, you can even Google good CV photo to see what comes out. I think that here I was having, for example, this photo is a good one. Well, it's just the face because he decided to put it in this kind of design, but I bet that the rest of the photo is the same. The person is in focus and then everything behind is blurred. That's really fine. That's the best photo to put on your CV. And guys, the email. If you're having ridiculous email that you use for chats and registrations online, do not use this one for your official correspondence. They're really, really funny emails. And when I see some emails like the one that I put here as an example, I do not contact that person because it's ridiculous. You cannot apply with that kind of email. And not only the first part, but also the second part. Hotmail and Yahoo are now really old. It shows that you're not up to date. Those are emails that are considered spam emails and emails from the old times. Now it's normal to see Gmail account. For example, here in Bulgaria, we have ABV BG and Mail BG. This is funny to see. This was created in the 90s and people are still using it. And they use it because they're in the local language, right? Because if they go to Gmail, they would not understand anything because it's English. And I know this. I mean, when I see an email in the local email provider, I know what's the reason. So don't show things like this, right? Go and create a Gmail account, whatever is available at the moment, and apply with this one. And whatever email you give in your CV, open it. Because my biggest problem with applicants is that they give me an email, I like their CV, I like everything there, I contact them and they never reply. Because they gave me an email that they forgot completely to check afterwards. I had at least 5 people in the last 6 months that did not take a great opportunity because they did not check their emails. So don't do that mistake, please. Do you have any questions or comments or anything? Is there anything that I can add or answer at the moment? No. Okay. That would be my last slide then, and I promised you online hints, and those are under the G for Google. I put the keywords for you to search online. I use those to see what's going to come out. Amazing results. There are so many online templates that you can use for your CV. A lot of them are free. Some of them are paid, but in any way, even if you choose to use a paid version, you can just use it as an example and create it by yourself. Or you can ask a friend to create the design for you if you have such a friend. And then you fill in your information. But there are amazing, amazing ideas out there that once you really need to create a CV, I encourage you to check. I worked for international organization for quite a lot of years, and I have a lot of international contacts, and I applied to international job opportunities, and I can say that none of them asked for Europass, right? So forget about this one. It's super, that's the easiest one to create. There is the link, actually I here put the Bulgarian version as a link, but they have them in English and all the European Union languages that you can just go online, put your data, and then it creates a PDF for you and a Word for you that you can then use and edit further. But try not to use it unless it's required, right? Because it's really horrible format. It's ugly. It's really ugly. So Canva is a really good choice. It's free to use, and it gives you a lot of opportunities, not only for CV, but you can create a lot of other stuff there. It's colorful and it's really nice. That's it. I promised 40 minutes. Do you have any questions, guys? Anything?
Yes, I have a question here. Is there some characteristics or skills when people are listing it that can buy you instantly, that is very good to see in any kind of CV, or the CV should be personalized for a special job?
Okay, because there was a breakage in the connection, I'm not sure if I got everything. Is your question, do we have to personalize every CV for every job application, or we can still use some generic format to apply here and there? Is this your question?
Yes, and is there some characteristics of a person or some special skills that can buy an HR manager in any time, in any CV?
Okay, that's a good question. When it comes to the CV, I would say always personalize it. Mm-hmm. Well, when it comes to, if you apply in a certain field, I guess you would not edit too much every time when you apply. However, every company would be looking for some special skills and special people. They always put it there. We're looking for someone with 3 years of experience in here and there, with that kind of education, with someone who's speaking English very well and is a good team leader and whatnot. So you pick those and you put them in your CV. Like, make sure that under skills, you first put the things that they're looking for, and then you put the others that you think that would add to your CV. And I wouldn't say that there is a special thing that would buy the HR manager, but they would really be thrilled to see a good-looking CV, a CV that is, even if it sounds funny, grammatically correct CV. Because this is something that annoys a lot, especially when you have a lot of CVs to check. An HR manager from a very big company here was walking around, and on each meeting that we were having here and there, she was showing a CV that she received in the format of a business card. And she was going everywhere with that one. I don't know if they hired the person, but at least they loved that guy. So, you know, the format is the first one that impresses. Everything else, as long as you manage to show that you're a reliable person who is willing to do this exact job and is willing to learn how to do it best, this is what goes well with the HR managers. Everything else is a chance. And, you know, hopefully they call you for an interview and then you can be a star.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Welcome. Anyone else? That's okay if you don't have questions. But if you do, I would be happy to answer. In any case, here you can see the website of the project where we put all the webinars, and there are also some materials there and articles that you can read. They are in Bulgarian, Macedonian, and Greek, but also in English. So please check it out and see if you could find something else helpful there. Let me see if you all guys managed to put your contacts on the chat. So I have Danilus, Miljana, Milica, Nevena. Miljana, do I have yours here? I don't think so. Maybe you are typing it now? Okay, and the email. Okay, thank you very much for participating, guys. Was it any helpful to you at all? Did I make any sense? Okay, I hope so.
Yes, it was great. Thank you for your time, and I got all these little notes, so it was great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, and I'm wishing you a great evening. And for those of you who are going to be watching the finals of the World Cup, enjoy. I can see Daniel smile. Okay, guys, it was really nice meeting you all. Bye.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Thank you.